Have you ever felt like you're constantly playing whack-a-mole in your agency? New clients come in, then the deadline starts stacking up, and by the time you're done putting out one fire, there's like 5 more waiting for you. So what if you could build a business that scales on its own? One where the grunt work is pretty much handled while you focus on the big picture, think of strategy, think of your next 5 moves. That's what today is all about. Running your agency with the power of automations and state-of-the-art AI agents. By the end of this video, you will have a solid game plan for you to cut out all this repetitive little recurring tasks and repetitive nonsense and future-proof your company or your agency. So let's dive into it. So here's the agenda for today. Here's what we're going to be covering in this video. We're going to talk about the bottlenecks holding agencies back from scaling. We're going to talk about what traditional automation is and how it can set you free from repetitive tasks. We're going to talk about AI agents, the technology that runs behind it, the state-of-the-art technology that's about to flip the script when it comes to understanding how agencies can operate moving forward, and also an actionable plan to incorporate automations and AI agents into your agency starting today or tomorrow. So let's start with the elephant in the room. So why is it so hard for agencies or service-based businesses to scale, right? Most agencies are drowning in a lot of what we call bottlenecks. You're managing custom projects, you're juggling client demands, and let's be honest here, half the time you're stuck doing tasks that could have been automated months ago, right? You just don't have the time to invest in researching new tools to automate things. I'll tell you that, I spent so much time looking into this that I know that 90% of what you're doing now could probably, not what you're doing, but what your team is doing now could probably be automated. You just haven't been looking into it. So the biggest problem here is you have no systems, you have no process, you probably have no focus for your business. So think about it, if every client needs a completely different solution, how can you create a repeatable process? You probably can't, right? So, and that makes sense. And when you don't have repeatable processes, you end up in the dreaded hamster wheel of running a business, always busy, but never really moving forward, right? So I've been there, and a few years ago, my agency felt a lot more like a DIY garage than a scalable business. Every project was custom, every project was manual, and every process was not documented, and scaling felt like a pipe dream, right? I land a big project, I'd hire more people, and when that project ends, I got to keep getting more and more projects to continue putting food on the table for these people in my team. It's an endless chase. So this is exactly where automation comes in. So let me put it this way. Automation is like hiring an army of invisible assistants who never take breaks, no matter what, and they don't make mistakes, and they never ask for a raise. I know some of you are smiling and laughing already, right? But yeah, let me continue. Here's how traditional automation works. First, you gotta start a trigger, which means something happens. So for example, someone clicked on this, or a new lead submitted a new form, something like that, right? So once you have the trigger, then the next thing is you need an action. Action would be based on this trigger in the example I gave, which is someone filling up a form. What is the task that you want it to do automatically? So like, for example, after fill up this form, right, then you add this lead into my CRM, and then I send them a welcoming email, and then I drop them a WhatsApp message, right? For example, it sounds simple, right? Tools like Zapier and Make.com will allow you to connect apps and basically create workflows to handle these tasks. So for example, in my agency, I set up an automation where a client's onboarding data is collected, organized, and then sent to the right team, all without me lifting a finger at all. And that, like, it may sound really small. You could say, oh yeah, I have an admin doing that. It may sound small, but the clarity that you have when it comes to not needing to manage it or to track it, or better, to QC it, right? QC and checking work is like a whole job on its own. You need another manager to also manage your admin, right? So having a bot run this, you can have that level of confidence that things are going to be okay. But here's the thing, right? Traditional automations, they've been there for the past few years. They are powerful, but they always have limits, right? They follow rules and they do not adapt. They cannot think for you, right? They're great at repetitive tasks, but when there's something different, right? Something that's messy or complex, they usually fall short. So this is where in the rise of LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude, when these things came out, and that's where the AI agents came in, right? And this is where things started moving and evolving, and this is where it's starting to get really exciting. Think of AI agents as automations, but on steroids. They don't just follow the rules, they actually think for you, they adapt to the different business use cases, and they execute well for you. So for example, a traditional automation might send an email where when a new lead comes in, right? And obviously you're gonna write the contents of the email, and it will just send whatever you told it to write. An AI agent, on the other hand, could analyze the lead's LinkedIn profile, craft a personalized outreach message based on the lead's LinkedIn profile, and even follow up with them automatically. So let me tell you about a demo that I saw recently. An AI agent was tasked with filling out a vendor form, and the data it needed was scattered across Google Drive and emails and a CRM, which is very normal, right? Most of the times, there's a lot of things that cannot be automated because we have data everywhere. So here's what the AI agent did. It opened up a spreadsheet, it scanned, basically it looked through the relevant data on the page, and it took screenshots, okay? And then it cross-referenced the CRM for missing information, and it filled out the form all without human input, just based on this. So it's like, in the past, you have a bot running. Now you gave the bot eyes, to look at things, you gave the bot brains to think of what to do, and now you give the bot hands to actually do those things. And that's crazy powerful. It's like watching magic happen on my screen when I saw it, right? And the best part is these agents, they don't need to sleep. They don't make typos, and they can just handle complex tasks that traditional automations can't even think about. So let's get a little bit more practical here. So here's how you can start incorporating automations and AI agents into your agency today. So step number one would be to audit your processes, right? Identify repetitive tasks that eat up your time. Things like client onboarding, reporting, moving data around, lead generation, all these kind of things are like your standard day-to-day operational things. Write them all down. Step number two is to standardize your processes. So you got to create the SOPs, which is your standard operating procedures for each process. So for example, if you're onboarding a new client, what are the steps, right? List it all down, collect the info, setting up the tools, assigning the tasks, etc. Things like this, write it all down. Step number three would be to automate the basics. So first start with the things that you can automate, right? Use tools like Zapier or Make.com to automate simple workflows. So right, connect your CRM to your project management tool and automate follow-up emails and so on. Next would be step four. Next would be to introduce AI agents. So you can start really small, use an AI agent to handle just one complex task and see it work. Slowly get friendly to it, right? Like lead generation or a personalized client follow-up. Monitor how it performs and slowly scale up. The thing about having a tool that thinks for you is that sometimes you don't exactly know how it works, but for a traditional bot, you know exactly how it's going to work. So before doing something crazy big, start by one small thing, one small agent running for you first. And step number five would be to measure and then refine what you're doing, right? Track the time and money that you're saving. Use this data to refine your processes and identify new areas for your AI agents to automate. So the reality today is businesses, service-based businesses, or even agencies are all evolving. Automations and AI agents are not just nice to have. They are literally going to be the future. Because think about it, if you're not doing it and your competitors or your clients are doing it and you don't know what's going on, you're going to look like an ape next to them. And honestly, their costs will go down by so much, which means they can maybe charge lower and they can move faster, and you're still stuck in the old way of doing things. They're going to defeat you at some point, right? So by embracing them now, you're not just keeping up, you're actually staying ahead, right? Because I can bet you a lot of people are in their comfort zone. So this is the time to come in and stand out. Okay, so yeah, let me know in the comments what's the first thing you're going to do and automate in your business, and let me know if you've learned anything from this video. Thank you.